Hey there, welcome to Bobini Creates. My name is Jeannie and welcome to another Whip Day video. Today's work in progress, I'm working on Rooms of Wonder. Let me grab that for you real quick. And this is what the cover looks like. It's by Johanna Basford. This is actually a project book for myself as well as Jana with Color and Create with Jana. She's right here on YouTube. I'll leave a link below, but we are both working on this this month. She's already finished hers, and I thought I really had a good start, and I told her, I'm about done. I just got to do the mushrooms and the books, and I pulled this out today to work on it, and I realized, I had a really rough base layer of Tombow on the tree trunk, and I realized, boy, I really need to smooth that out and shade it. And then, of course, the other items that I had mentioned, bottom line is I had a lot more to do than I thought. So I pulled out, I thought my beige sienna would be a nice little match with the Tombow base layer here, just to sort of smooth it up a little bit. I don't like to oversaturate these with the Tombows. They get streaky, number one, and I don't like it to go through, on the other side. If you get too many layers on it, that can happen if it gets too wet. So I kind of do a looser base layer with the Tombow sometimes. Yeah, so anyway, gotta clean it up though. Gotta clean it up. So that's why I thought I'd bring you along here. So when we decided to do this as a project book, I had a forever whip that we actually completed last month. So we decided to work on our whips first. So I did that, and then this was her whip that she had for this month. So now that we have, or we almost have these out of the way, we're free to go ahead and choose some other pages. But I'm really pleased to be doing this with her. She's just a lot of fun to chat with, throughout the month, and she's just a good support. And I love her channel. If you guys, I'll link it below. But if you haven't already, check out her channel. She's just got a really lovely personality, and she's a lot of fun, and she does some beautiful coloring. So I think this whole project book idea is going to be great for both of us. And we enjoy, doing the buddy colors together. So that'll be cool. So you can already see, that's quite a bit smoother than that, which is a good thing. And so we'll just kind of clean this up a little bit, and then I can get to the shading. I'm going to add a little bit in here as well. Oh, and the leaves, I used my Arteza Twi markers, and then I went over those with pencil, just because it was a lot quicker for me to be able to go in and do, just have several different shades of green. Actually, let me move down here. Several different shades of green that I could kind of bounce around the page with, and then go over that with my pencils. So I'm pretty sure that's all. Yeah, that's all I used for, the marker. The little bits, like I said, were some fine liners. It's actually the same thing, the Arteza Twi. It's just, it has a really super fine end on one side of it, which I absolutely love. I love those markers. And so it just helped kind of get it started for me a little bit. But I love this picture, though. It just is so cozy. It's like a little forest, little cozy nook, with the books and the reading glasses. And I love being able to spot all the fun bits in her pages. She has lots of little details that are fun to identify, and I love just the vibe of this whole page. One thing I wish I would have done, I wish I would have put in a moon, maybe, because that would have been fun to bounce some light off of different things, from the moon, but I didn't do that. So yeah, it's okay. Sometimes that just happens. You come up with best laid plans. You try to come up with the best ideas that you can, and then inevitably there's something, at least for me, that I always think, gosh, that would have made it made it a little bit better, but overall though, I'm real pleased with it and I like the colors. And so, you know, I'm feeling good about it. I'm moving slowly, and I told Jana that too. I just feel like this month has been just a slow bunch of coloring, and I haven't really finished any. Well, yeah, I have finished some pages, but I feel like this month I have more whips going on than finished pages, but it always seems to work out in the end, so I try not to worry about it too much. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, so I think that looks pretty smooth, so now I feel like I can go in with some shading. Actually, I went ahead and I colored this with that same pencil that I was, using to smooth out the Tombow. And so let me go ahead and move to this part, and let's do a little bit of work on this little tree stump here. And so the colors I'm using, I don't remember if I said, but for the darkest colors, the dark brown, then I have light umber, and then I had the beige sienna was kind of what I was working with. So yeah, so let's go ahead and just see what we can do with this little stump here. And towards the end, I start seeing other things, that maybe I want to fix. Like, I really am not in love with these dark, especially these guys. Not in love with that green. So I think what I'll probably do is go in with some paint pens and try to lighten those up a little bit. I just think it would look a bit better. And the beautiful thing about the acrylic paint pens is they can go right over the top of that and fix it up nicely, I think. So I'll just have to find some good shades. All right. And I just kind of randomly go here and there and accent different parts of it. Just to kind of bring it to life a little bit. And I think I'm not going to worry too much about getting in here on these parts, because like I said, I do want to go over that with a paint pen, and I kind of want to get a feel for what that's going to look like. So I think I'm going to stay away from those. Normally I'd put, some darker brown in here, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to do on camera right now until I get a feel for that paint pen. On one of my videos, it was actually my whip day video from last week, where I was working on, what was I working on? Summer Nights, my grasshopper and bellflower page, which I think, I actually finished that one. I think it turned out really good, but I also shared a little haul that I got for my birthday, and one of the things that I got was a set of acrylic paint pens, and I'm very excited to use that. So this will be the first page that I'll try to use those and see how it goes. I've only swatched them so far, and I really love them. They're just awesome colors, and I think it's going to be a neat tool for me. Yeah, I don't want to get that very dark because I got a light going on there, but okay, come back to that. Maybe a little bit of this umber. Let's see, so I worked on that last week, and that was a fun page. Grasshopper, I wasn't that psyched to color the grasshopper per se, but it was the next in line in my Summer Nights book. Some of you may recall that I'm trying to work that book in order, and that was the next page that was up, so I needed to color it. And I kind of like the idea of that, because it gets me out of my comfort zone, coloring things that normally I'd probably avoid. So I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think it's also getting fun to flip through those beginning pages and seeing it come together. So I'm kind of excited about that. So, and besides that, in my live streams, I've done some mermaids. I did 1,000,000 Mermaids by Lulu Mayo in a couple of different live streams. And I worked yesterday in it's Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures, the Camilla de Erico book. And that was enjoyable to work on. And it was I felt like it was a fun stream. It's always fun to be able to chat with everybody. And by the way, if you haven't been to one of those, either mine or somebody else's, jump in. They're so fun because you can, chat with the colorists and your other buddies, friends around ColorTube in real time. And I just really get a kick out of that. And it's nice to be able to catch up. So I love going to other people's streams as well so much. Okay, I'm going to call that for now. And I'll do similar, around the trunk, but I don't think you necessarily want to see me do all that. But you get the idea. Like I'm going to come in here and, darken some of these areas here and there and just get a little bit of shading going on here. So I'll do that and I'll be back. I did want to mention one thing that just popped into my head that I wanted to mention before I forgot, and that is that, do you remember the old book, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, but Sagar Ox Sagnor by Emily Liddell Oberg? That book was published a long time ago. I don't remember, but I just remember seeing it, at the beginning of my coloring journey, and I always wanted it, but I never bought it. And I see that some of you guys may know that Coloring with Claire had started a campaign to get that book republished, and so it is going to be reprinted. And it looks like, from what I'm seeing, is I see on Amazon that it's available for pre-order, and it'll be released August the 28th. So just FYI, that's kind of the latest on that. But I was super excited to see that because I felt like I had missed out on that opportunity, that window, and I felt kind of bad about that. So I would love to have that book. It's just a charming, charming book. So anyway, just a little update on that. Very, very exciting news in the coloring world. And okay, let me finish up and I'll be back. So I went ahead and I finished up with the darkest color. You can see I was able to, shade the outside bits and the undersides of the branches, that type of thing. So now what I want to do is go in with my mid-tone and just sort of carry that from the darkest shadow out a little bit, just to sort of soften that look. And I'll probably also put a little bit on this edge as well, just to sort of make that look a little bit more dimensional. So I thought I'd bring you along at least for a little bit while I do that. Actually, you know what? Let me start on this part. I think that would be maybe a little more interesting. So just kind of, adding that lighter color in here and fading it inward a little bit like that. And so anyway, it's funny. It always takes longer than you think it's gonna, or maybe you guys are just better at predicting than I am, but I'm always surprised. Like I thought I was about done, and really, no, I wasn't. So it's kind of interesting how that goes. There's always so many more details that take so much more time. So but you know what, that's our hobby, and that's part of the fun, is seeing things come to life a bit. So that is quite all right. Really, I've always tried to tell myself not to rush the end, and sometimes I still do, but it's the ending of the picture where the magic kind of comes to life. I feel like it's, yeah, it's fun selecting the colors and all of that. That's you know, and it's so exciting always to get started, but really the magic happens when we do the shading and all the little bits, the little detail work. So I try to rein myself in when I get overly anxious to be done with a page, and just sort of remember that it's going to look a lot better if I take the time. And yeah, so that's what I try to do. So as I'm looking at this picture, I'm thinking, man, would I love that lush that lush little whatever that is, somebody's backyard or something in the forest or something like that. But man, would that just be amazing. But I do not have all the green and grass and all the flowers and stuff here. So what we do have right now is quite a lot of the cactus plants have been in bloom for a while. They started a while ago, and you guys remember I do turn my pages. That's just what I do. It helps. But yeah, so that's kind of cool to go around and see those different blooms, and it's interesting how vivid they are. You'd be surprised because they really look like such an exotic flower, and it's kind of surprising. I always kind of take a step back when I see those, and I think, wow, those are really impressive. Sadly, they don't seem to last long enough. I have some beautiful ones in my front yard, and they only bloom for like a day or two, and then they're gone. And but I enjoy them when they do bloom. So that's kind of cool. And then I did plant some flowers this week. Not much, but I have some pots in my front yard. My front yard is gravel, but I have some different pots, you know, here and there, and I've planted a little bit of flowers in amongst those, and so that kind of helps me get excited about a little project of adding some color to the front yard. And so far I've just planted they're called, we call them periwinkles, but they're actually, I think the proper name is vinca, and they actually, at least in this area, they can act as perennials. So I've had sometimes in the past where those have lasted quite a long time, and that always makes me really, really happy when they do. And the other thing that's kind of cool about them is they will reseed a bit, and I enjoy that also, because, you know, everybody likes little surprises of flowers popping up, I feel like. So I always get a kick out of that when I see those pop up, and they're not anything that I had planted in that place. It doesn't happen as often here in my location, but when it does, it really makes me smile. And it kind of makes me think of that old bloom where you are planted thing. I know it's kind of cheesy, but truly, some of these things pop up in just the strangest little places, in little crevices and cracks in a sidewalk and that type of thing. And it's amazing how nature really does sort of try to find a way to you know, live and thrive and all the things. And that always makes me smile. The other thing that I've had several plants that have reseeded that really tickle me. Another one is, let's see, cosmos. I have orange cosmos that reseeds in my backyard, and I love those. Just, they're a super cheery color, and I know there's other colors, but the one that always comes back in my yard is the orange. I've tried throwing down some of the other seed, but for whatever reason, those haven't taken hold, you know, but those are super pretty. And I've had some luck with marigolds. I know if you're in, you know, some place that's nice and green, that's a no-brainer. Those things grow, you know, easily. But here it's a little bit impressive that they pop up, you know, and I appreciate that. What else do I have? I've got feverfew, which is an herb. The old remedy back in the day was that it helped, you know, headaches, and you know, if you're an herbal person, maybe that's something people use today. I don't know, but that pops up around my yard. I still have that coming up everywhere. And those are really pretty because they have a little, kind of a little, very small daisy looking flower. And they grow in, they almost have like a ferny leaf. So they almost seem like they shouldn't fit in here, but gosh, they're pretty. I love the brightness that they add to the yard. And yeah, so it's kind of fun. Let's see. They're kind of like, if you've seen a chamomile bloom, they're kind of like that, only more white, less yellow, you know. And yeah, those are super, super pretty. But yeah, they come back. They're nice little volunteers in my yard. I've had some luck with cilantro and parsley, you know, popping up. I used to have quite a lot of herbs that I grew in pots in the backyard. At one time I had, I think I was 30 something herbs, and I really enjoyed that hobby. That was just because I could, and I just thought they were so pretty. And I would use some of them, you know, to cook with. I still have, I probably planted these 20 years ago, but I had planted some of the garlic chives, or they're otherwise known as flat leaf chives or Chinese chives. Those reseed readily, and they also spread. They have little, I don't even know what they are. Maybe rhizomes or something, I'm not really sure, but, or maybe the root system, not really sure, but all I know is they do grow readily in my yard, and I give them away pretty often, you know, because they pop up everywhere. And those I really do enjoy using. I like using them fresh, and I also like drying them and using them that way. So that's kind of fun. They have less flavor when they're dried, you know, unlike other herbs, but I still like to use them, especially, you know, kind of as a garnish. They lose some of that flavor dried, but they're still useful. But yeah, they're always in my backyard, and they get little flowers as well, but the main appeal there is just being able to use that sort of oniony, garlicky, in this case more garlicky flavor. They're just so yummy. I like some of the regular chives as well, but I've never bothered to grow those. Just because I have so many of these, I kind of feel like, what's the point, you know? And I'm not sure those reseed as much, at least in this area. I'm not real sure. What I'm anxious to get started on, though, is just some of the little bits. So I kind of feel like I want to add some yellow, because that'll complement the purple, I feel like. So let me just look at my Prisma yellows. I ended up choosing some of the yellow colors that had more of a goldish tone to them. So jasmine, yellow ochre, and just a little bit of the mineral orange, I feel like, for the darkest color. So let's just play with those and see what we think. But my thinking on that is that I just want to kind of scatter this throughout the page. So I'll start off with this pillow here. But I feel like, you know, kind of like I did with the purple and the pink, is, you know, kind of scatter those here and there. And that way they're represented throughout the page. So I think that'll be nice. And I like that color. Yeah, I started to look at, I can't remember what I was looking at to begin with. In a canary yellow or something, and then I thought, oh heck no, that's just a little too bright. And I feel like, you know, I've got enough bright with the green and whatnot, so I didn't really want to compete with that. So we'll just tone it down a bit here with these yellows, I feel like. I like this yellow though, that's awfully pretty. All right, and just doing kind of a fast bit of, you know, base layer here on that. And I think I'll come in with my mineral orange for the edge here. So anyway, I think this is coming together, guys. But still, I've got so many little bits to do. So I can tell you, I will not finish this on camera with you. I don't like to keep these videos too long. But yeah, there's a bit of work ahead. So I'm just gonna plug away with what I can and kind of go from there. I was trying to think of what other herbs I had. I have never had luck with garlic. It grows, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't multiply. Now, I've had luck with onions doing that, but I've never had luck with garlic, and I'm sure it's just me, probably, because I think they should grow here okay. Rosemary grows really well, and it smells so good. It's got kind of a nice piney smell in the garden, and it's got some pretty blue flowers that the bees just love. So that's a good one. That grows, you know, quite heartily out there, so I enjoy having that. Okay, let's call that good, and let's move on to some of these books, shall we? And see what we think here. I got a little bit of pink on this neighboring book, so let's get rid of that. And I've had sage and different kinds of mint. Of course, like with the mint, you have to, it's a good idea to plant that in a in a pot, because otherwise it'll take over your whole garden. And I've had a good patch of it take over, and that is not easy to get rid of. So, and it's funny because I knew it was going to do that ahead of time, because everybody warns you about that. But in my head, I thought, oh, you know what? Nothing really becomes out of control here in my climate, but that actually did. So I will not make that mistake again. But those ones are fun to play with, and they're super easy to grow if you're new to herbs. That's just sort of a no-brainer, because they really, you can't mess them up. They grow on their own, and they smell so good. But there's lots of varieties of those. You know, pineapple mint and chocolate mint was probably my favorite. I love that. Apple mint, you know, lots of those. Orange mint. What else did I like? I loved growing basil. I haven't had that in my garden for a while, but that was a really good one to grow. And that you can gather seeds from that, and easily they go to seed quicker than you want them to, so you have to kind of pinch off the edges of those. And but my favorite thing of the basil to grow was the cinnamon basil. That is the best smelling stuff, let me just tell you. I love it. And now it's making me want some of this back in there again. It was a bit of work for me to keep everything moist enough out there in this heat. So it did take a bit of effort, and I just kind of, at some point, I decided I didn't want to continue with my herb garden. But boy, that was some special memories, as you can tell as I'm going on and on about it. But oh man, just really, I enjoyed just sort of spending time out there and enjoying the fragrances, that type of thing. See, I'm liking those. Let's see, let's move over here, and See what we can do. So I wonder what this person is reading about. What do you think? Are these fairy tales that they're reading about, or what, you know? No telling. And I may, on some of these little accent bits, I will probably come back with some, you know, glitter gel pens, like, you know, here and here, just to kind of bump it up a little bit. So, okay, and obviously, you know, I can continue on with the yellow. I'm not going to do that right now, but what I do want to do, let's see here. I'm trying to decide. That's pink is right nearby, but I'm almost thinking maybe, you know what, maybe purple for those. You know what, let's do that. And looks like I got a little bit. I think this might be Tombow on here. This is probably not, yeah, that's not going to come off. I was pretty sure that's what that was. Oh, well. And then in these little dots, that very well may be some glitter gel pen as well, or some Posca, something like that, you know. It's always fun to kind of color them a different color, because we, you know, a lot of times go for that red and white polka dot kind of, you know, mushroom, and it's always, to me, it's always fun when I can do something a little bit different. I enjoy that very much, though. I think those are probably the cutest of all of them, but, you know, in this case, the red wasn't in the cards for this. I wasn't feeling it with the colors that I had chosen. So yeah, we'll just make these little guys purple. So let's see, that was lavender. Let's see, I think, let me go in maybe with a Parma Violet, you think? Let me find that. Aha, there it is. Almost a little too close to that lavender to make a big difference, but it'll be a good mid-tone anyway. Okay, moving along, let's see, maybe Dahlia. Now, you know me, I'm all about true crime, so when I think of Dahlia, I think of that famous case. Where was that? In Hollywood, I believe, but every time. Yeah, I like that. That adds, it's a little more dramatic, which I like. I do like some bright colors. Actually, I think, let's see, let me move this mid-tone in here maybe. Bring a little bit of white in here. I like it. I do indeed. All right, so that's good. I need to shade this guy. I need to shade that some more. I mean, got lots of stuff to do, but I think while I've got these purples out, I think I'm gonna do, I think these are one of those little tree mushrooms that you see sort of at the base of some trees. Kind of what that reminds me of anyway, I'm not sure. First, I've never seen those in nature, or I hadn't, I should say, until about a year ago at one of our camping spots. And actually, not all that far away from home. And yeah, it was kind of a neat little find, because we don't usually get fun little foresty goodies, you know? But this was an area that had pine trees and such, so yeah. It was fascinating to me. I love checking out different things in nature. All right, we will call that pretty good for now, right? I get to concentrating and I don't finish my sentences. Okay, I think, actually, let's go ahead and do this thing here. And I'll probably come back, and these little bits here will be gel pen as well, but for right now, I'm just going to go over the majority of that and not worry about it too much. I like the purple here. I think that's a good fit. First I was thinking I wanted to color it kind of a wood grain color, but no, I like that. Actually, let me sharpen this a bit. I like it. Yeah, I really do. All right. Actually, little bits of white in there that I didn't get covered up. All right, let's do that. And then I think I just kind of want to do a little bit like this, and this pencil could probably be a little sharper, but kind of like that, just a little bit of hint of wood grain that has been painted by the little fairy or whatever. I like it. And maybe just a tiny little bit of white in the center here. Okay. And I think, honestly, guys, I'm going to call it. I do not like to make these too long, but gosh, I feel like I made some decent progress, and at least it helped me sort of map things out a little bit more in my head. So I feel like I can move forward. You know, maybe I'm feeling like these little birds could be blue, you know, I could bring some blue down in here, probably the pillow. So yeah, I've got some ideas. So thanks for joining me, because I really did need to work on this page, and I loved working on it, but for some reason, it's just been taking me forever. So I do appreciate your company, and I do hope that you are working on something fun with me, because I always love that. But anyway, I will see you on my next video. Thanks for joining. Bye.